We'll get started. 1 second. Okay, let's go over what you got. Are you seeing my slides?
Yes.
Yes. And they're big, like it's the full screen, right?
Yep.
Double checking. All right, so, I get tons of work from my students in my drive. Absolutely, that's exactly how this works. They are there because you're shared on it. If you are shared on a file, or if you've ever opened a file, you'd be able to find it in your Google Drive. I would like everybody to right now, if you'll go to drive.google.com, I want you to go to drive.google.com, and I want you to click on recent. Click on recent. Do you see your Google Drive is a hot mess? If you have clicked, if you notice you opened my slides. I didn't share my slides with you. They're not organized in your Google Drive. If you go to my drive, if you go to all your folders, if you go to shared with me, you are not going to find your Google Drive is a hot mess. You're not going to find it, right? But when you click on recent, you find it. So the thing is that if you say you go to a website and someone has linked a Google Doc or whatever, someone's linked a Google something that in the website, and you click on it and you open it. My phone's trying to answer my question. If you click on it and you open it, you're able to find it in Google Drive, because most of us have a gross misunderstanding of what Google Drive is and how it works. We live in a paper world where we think about paper, and then I've got a piece of paper in a file, in a folder, in a filing cabinet, and we make it worse because we call it a file and we call it folders as if these things exist. They don't exist. You want to remember that these Google Drive files are really just labeled with, it's just a label. It's not an actual folder. So, if you've opened it, you have access to find that link again, per se, the label, through the Google Drive. So if you have someone shared with you an agenda and they didn't share it with you, they give you the link. Big difference. They did not share it with you. No, they gave you the link. If you later go in and search, and you opened it and you looked at it, you later go in and search your Google Drive, you're going to be able to find that file where it's not in your Google Drive, it's in their Google Drive, but you just have the ability to locate it because you've opened it. I know that's confusing. So with student work, the fact that they share it with you puts it into your drive. It would be under shared with me if they're the owner. If you're the owner, then it would be, if it's in Google Classroom, it's going to be organized in the assignment folder. But without you having access to it, without it being in your Google Drive, you'd never be able to see student work. So that's why they're there. And they automatically go into a folder if it is Google Classroom. If you have them share it with you other ways, they do not automatically go into a folder. So without having a code, the answer is use Google Classroom. Now my tip is, here's the tip to keep your Google Drive from being a hot mess. Insert, shape, shapes. I want a star. Where's that thing? Call outs. Yes. That's what I wanted. It was way too much effort. You need to star your originals. If you make something and you think you will ever open it again, you should star it. You should star it. Because when you go into your Google Drive and it's a hot mess with other people's stuff, you can make that stuff go away by just filtering for it being starred. Let me show you. So I'm going to go to drive.google.com. Go to Google Drive. You want to be able to click on this tiny arrow in the search bar, and you'll notice there's a filter that says starred. So now, assuming you did not star any student work, you didn't star the agenda that we shared with you, you didn't star all the junk that's in your drive, the only things that are going to show up are things you care about. So I want, if I search starred, these are going to be documents that I thought were worth coming back to someday. If you create a template for students, for sure, star the original. Now you can get to start here on the left-hand side of Drive. Where it says start on the left side. So you can just get there, but I'm going to do the tiny triangle in the search Drive where it brings up the filter. I'm going to click starred. And then notice the difference between item name and has the words. When you search in Google Drive, it searches the entire document, If you want to be like, no, just the subject line, just the title, notice what I'm filtering for. I'm looking for directions documents that are starred. Search. Look at that. You see this small pile I have? This small pile I have? There's no scrolling. Do you see I can't scroll? I just cleaned up my Google Drive in seconds by making sure that anything that I think that's important, I star it. And then I click on the tiny triangle and I choose starred, and only those ones that are good come up. And you're like, Alice, I haven't been doing that. I know. So from now on, you're going to do it moving forward. Get a Post-it note. Put on there, star your originals, goofball, or whatever you want to call yourself. And just get yourself reminding, like, is this important? Will I touch this ever again? Maybe. Star it. Now, when you go and you use something, you're like, dang it, I just opened this a second time. It should be starred, shouldn't it? If you've opened it a second time, it must be important enough that you want to look at it a second time. Then star it. Start getting in the habit of checking that it's starred. Star it or check that it's starred. I'll make a slide for that. If you open something from Drive, it was probably important. Star it. I paid my kids $1 to swat flies. Every fly they swatted, they got 11 of them or something. There's still a fly buzzing around my head right now. Dang it. All right, so that's your first move to getting your Drive cleaned up and getting all that you don't want to look at student work, don't star their work. You don't want to look at your principal's agendas, don't star it. The other way that you can handle that is you do owner:me. So you want files that are owned by you and not other people. Now, what's the problem with this, you guys? In Google Classroom, when students turn in work, you become the owner. So then you search for things I own and student work comes up. The first thing you need to do is make sure you return. You should not be the owner of student work. Just on a philosophical matter, if it's their work, they own it. I return it. So, and also, it helps me to clean up my Google Drive. So when I go into Google Drive, up in the top, you click the tiny triangle to filter. Do you notice that one of my tricks is you should be filtering your Drive? I bet you're not. You go to Drive, click on the triangle to filter. Who's the owner? You drop down and say, owned by me. Search. And now I should only have things that I own and is my stuff, and it's not my principal's agenda and it's not my students' work unless you didn't return it. So you can do owned by me and has the word, wait, I'm going to do has the word chupacabra. So let's be real clear. Item name is title. Do you want the word chupacabra in the title? Or do you want the word chupacabra anywhere in the document, including the title? Search. So you'll see number 205 says Alice's pivot table sample and does not say chupacabra in the title, but it does say it somewhere in this spreadsheet has the word chupacabra. But I've now been able to clean up my Google Drive just by going to the triangle and saying, you know what? No, not type. Owner, I want to do owned by me. And that's going to help you a lot. If you'll just start using filters, that'll help you clean up your drive significantly. All right, if you could please, real quick, I want you to go to your Google Drive. I want you to click on the triangle. I want you to see what happens when you do owner owned by me. Or once you learn it, here's what I do. I filter it and then I pay attention. When I do owned by me, notice what it did. It put owner : me up in the search. And maybe it's just me, but I get to Google Drive by typing drive.google.com. I don't come to this little waffle apps chooser and do Drive. Once I learn it, it's faster for me to type it. So when I want to do owner, I do owner : me because I know it. That's faster for me. Or just do the tiny triangle and choose owner owned by me. It's exactly the same. You'll notice when I choose owner owned by me that it puts the owner : me up there anyway. Now, if you put a minus sign in front of it, it says, I'm not the owner. What things am I not the owner on? It's just because a minus owner : me. That's a really good trick for your Google Drive is the ability to put a minus in front. So I'm going to say minus chupacabra. And it's going to only show me files that do not have chupacabra. Yes. All right, so you're practicing those things a little bit. Let me know. Did it work? Feel okay with that? You're choosing that it's starred, that's owner, owned by me, and then you understand item name is the title, as the words is the entire document, and helps you sort and filter and get what you need fast.
Question on that?
Yes.
Can you start it like within a document? Like I just did a document, can I start within, or I have to do it before or after?
All of the above, it doesn't matter. You see this one says same meet link. I've selected it.
Okay.
Okay, I single clicked, so it didn't open it. Push S, star, push S, unstar, push S, star, unstar. If I open it, wait for it. Well, I've opened it a second time. I probably should star it. It's important enough to look at twice, then I should star it.
Oh, right there. Okay.
Right there
So,
next to the title.
you store it by typing S
In Drive.
in Drive.
Yes, if I have the file open, that won't work. So I single click. Do you see how it's highlighted blue?
Yeah.
Push S.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So anything that you think you will use again, star it.
So is it, Alice, quick question. Is there a reason, like there's a lot of teachers that get very angry with Google Drive because they see all the student work they're like, I can't handle this. This is crazy. And I'm not sure how to direct them on as to how to organize it.
Okay, here's the deal. Stop clicking on shared with me, and it won't be a problem.
But even if they go to my drive, they're still seeing a whole bunch of student work.
Not in their drive. It's in shared with me.
Then why is it when they go to my drive, there's student work?
There's no student work. If I'm here in my drive, there's no student work here. If you go to the classroom folder, the student work's in the classroom folder. So you go find the classroom folder, and then you find the class, and then you find the assignment, and the student work is in.
But why would they find it in their drive if they're not even going in the classroom folder?
They deleted the folder.
Because what?
They deleted the folder. And then now
They
the stuff,
deleted-
they deleted the folder. And so now their stuff is flying around all over their Google Drive because you need to let Google Classroom organize it like it organizes. When students try and work, it goes into Google Drive. But I doubt that's the problem. I doubt that they deleted the classroom folder, Kristen. What they did, they clicked on shared with me. They're telling you it's in their My Drive, but I doubt it.
It could be their
Oh,
single.
so they're saying
So this-
share with me.
I'm doing a webinar. Stop coming in and out of the house. Go in your rooms and don't come out. All right. Yes, this is a misunderstanding that people think that share with me is part of their My Drive, that it's a folder, that they should be able to organize it. They cannot organize the shared with me because it is not a folder. It is a filter. So if you're clicking on shared with me, this is where I find most people get frustrated, is that they're looking at this shared on the side. They think it's a folder. They want it to be organized a particular way, but they can't. Because that's not what it is. So you can create shared with me all by yourself. You go to the little tiny triangle at the top, and it creates a drop down. And you do who's the owner. It's not owned by me. So these are things that are shared with me, right? And then if you want to, now, how do you want to organize your shared with me? You want to look at things that have only been modified in the last 7 days. Search. All right, so now what I've got is files I don't own. They are shared with me, and maybe I only want type presentation. So now I have made a filter that's type presentation after 9:13, and I search, and now I'm able to have a filtered view because that's all shared with me as a filter. It's a pre-made filter of not owned by me. You have access to, but you don't own. Shared with me. And you can, if you look up here in the address bar up at the top, I'm going to put it down here in the chat. You'll see that the search results, when I push enter, it actually gets included. So it says type presentation %20 after this particular date. So if you filter your Google Drive, you click on the tiny triangle and you set it up however you want. You can bookmark, you can click the star. And you're looking for files that have been shared this week. And so you can add that to the bookmark bar. So if you have certain ways that you want to look at it, you can create in the bookmark bar this filter that lets you get there fast. Just like I can click on shared with me and get there fast, I can make my own filter and get there fast by making a bookmark. But my drive is the first mistake people make with My Drive is they go to My Drive and click new. The second mistake you're going to make, and I make this mistake on purpose, if I do slides.new where it makes the new slides, guess where that saves? Saves straight to My Drive, not in a folder. If you want it to create in a folder, you got to first open the folder. So if I open the folder and then I create a new Google Slides in the folder, part of it is just getting good habits. If you want to organize your Google Drive, when you make something like this is important, start it. If you want it to be in a particular folder, go to that folder and then do new whatever you want so it makes it in the folder. If you don't do that, you got to click on the folder icon. So it's the title, the star, and the folder icon. And that allows you to organize it into a particular folder. So as you're opening documents, you now want to start putting it in folders. Now, folders don't really exist. It's a concept rather than a physical thing. It's not a physical folder. It really just labels it, hey, it's grouped in with other files of this worksheets label. Not that it really matters, but I think it's worth mentioning.
So I feel like we have some good habits to start doing. And I think like the frustration teachers have is when they search like presentations, all the student things come up. How do we go about cleaning up the old student things?
So, well, I'm getting there. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Forgive me.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, that's what we're doing today. That's the topic. So my first thing is I want to go through what everyone's got so I make sure I cover those. And then I'm going to have you guys do some stuff with me to clean up your drive.
Thanks.
Okay, so to try to find specific folders, great question. You can actually do that in Google Drive. So when you're in Google Drive and you do the little drop down, you do file type, you can search for folders. So now I do folders and then I do space template. And then I'm just going to get my templates folders. Unfortunately, I have template tab. Let me see if I do minus template tab. That should get rid of those. Yes. You see how when I'm looking at my results, like I didn't want those. I don't want anything that says dash, do, quotations, do not edit. If you have more than one word, you want to put it in quotes. So now you see all those folders that said do not edit and all those folders that said template tab are gone because I put a minus sign in front of it. So when you search for something like this is too much, start minusing things that you notice. Like I don't need anything that says Google Classroom. I don't need anything that says optional. This helps you find your folders faster. Lauren, here's the deal. They've always been deleting your files. I'm pretty sure they've always been deleting your files. They're just now going to do it on a 30-day rotation.
Not in Drive. I used to have, I could delete things and then it would stay there for like 2 years. But now they've announced that they're not going to do it anymore. It's going to be just like in Gmail. After 30 days, it's gone.
If you've trashed it, shouldn't it? I'm surprised they give you 30 days. It's counting your storage. If it's sitting in your delete folder.
Yeah, it could stay there. Right now, it could stay there forever. I have files from like 2 years ago. If you don't delete it, it's there. But now they have announced that as of October, it will be deleted after 30 days. Just like in Gmail.
Good. It should have been doing that all along. Why would you trash something if you wanted to keep it?
Right.
And, you know, for your school account, it doesn't really matter because you have unlimited storage in your school account. But in your personal account, if it's not deleted, it counts against your storage. So if you've got a file, a video, a picture, any of that takes up a lot of room, and you delete it and you still don't have room, it's because you need to remove it from your trash. You need to trash the trash. You click on trash. You can click on it and just manually trash it forever.
You're right. If you were to go all the way down, you can see that you've got files, very old files that you've got.
Okay, well, I'll be deleting it because I don't want them. Okay, good. All right. So we already addressed this one. The trick is if there's other people's work, you just need to filter it for owned by me, and other people's work is going to go away. Sometimes if I put my file and it's hard to find. And so the trick for if you still can't find it is to keep using the filters. You know, like I know that I've modified it within the last 30 days. I know that somewhere in the document I used the word date. You know, try and think of all the things you could think of about that file, because what's great about Google Drive is to actually search the entire file. So those help you. Now, Matthew, I'm building up to this because all these skills are essential for the next thing I'm going to show you once we get there. All right. All right. So I got all of those. So here's what we're going to do, you guys. You're going to go to your Google Drive right now, and you're going to click on My Drive on the left-hand side. And you're going to do New Folder. New Folder. You can just go ahead and name it Hot Mess or whatever you want. Lauren, I'm going to mute you, but please, oh wait, whoever is Tony Helms, I'm going to unmute you, but please mute, whatever. Join back in when you're ready to say something. Name it Hot Mess. We're going to create Hot Mess. I'm going to do Control A. Control A. Now I need to unselect the Hot Mess folder that I just selected. So I'm going to do Control and click on the Hot Mess folder. So I've got all my folders, all my files except Hot Mess. All right, I'm going to type that. I'm going to put this as some directions. Okay, so in Google Drive, I'm going to do New Folder, name it Hot Mess, Control A, select all, hold down Control key and click on Hot Mess folder to deselect. Now, if you're on a Mac, it would be Command. And we're going to drag everything into the Hot Mess folder. We're just going to go over here to My Drive, and I'm going to drag. I'm going to see how they're all selected, all 49 items here. Drag it into Hot Mess. Oh, geez. Refresh. I don't know. It gave me an error. Okay. Control A, select all. Control unselect the Hot Mess, and then drag everything into the Hot Mess folder. Why is it not doing it? Is yours doing it? Oh, it did it. It just took a little bit, okay? It didn't get all of them because it only got the ones that are shown on the screen. So one of the tricks is to scroll and keep scrolling. Scroll and keep scrolling. Scroll and keep scrolling. Look at all this stuff that's in my Google Drive. My Google Drive is a hot mess. Scroll and keep scrolling. Scroll and keep scrolling. All right. Control A, select all. Come here. Control A. It's lagging. I got video going. You know how it is. When you got video running, your computer runs slower. And it froze on me. Okay, wait, there we go. I'm going to control. I got to unselect the hot mess so I can drag everything into the hot mess. Look at that. I got 499 things going into hot mess. All right, you're going to do this right now. You got a hot mess folder or whatever you want to call it, and you're going to take everything in your Google Drive and you're just going to keep moving it to hot mess. This might take you some time. Do you see how I did it and nothing happened? It's because I'm using up all my computer resources with this video call. It's going to go in there eventually, I think. Pretty sure it does. Let's try to move 499 of them. Just take some time. All right, so this is our first step to cleaning up our Google Drive, is starting from scratch. We're just going to get everything that's in Drive and we're going to dump it into a folder. And then we're going to start making new folders for what you wish you had done in the first place. We're going to move forward. I'm going to show you some things.
So I need to ask real quick, should I just keep on moving them over even though they're all blue and they haven't gone in? Just keep on doing it?
Well, no, because it's going to do it.
Pause and wait. Okay.
My problem is, Lisa, is I did 499 of them like a dope. You and I should both realize that that's going to make my computer choke to do so many at a time. So what I should do is just watch TV. Don't scroll. Just get whatever's on the screen. That's a reasonable number. Drag them in. Once they, first of all, restart your computer, Lisa. Lisa, restart your computer so you have all your RAM available. Yes. Then sit and watch TV, watch a show, relax, and start Control-A, control hot mess, drag, Control-A, control hot mess, drag. You start getting them in there. Better yet, give one of your children $5 to do it. Yes. I don't enjoy putting ads and alt tags on my site, so I now pay my 10-year-old to do it. She's really good at it. I'm like, if I don't like doing something, just pay my children. Here's something tedious to do. Come on. They're going to show up there eventually. Okay.
Question?
Yes.
My hot mess folder got accidentally dragged into something. How do I delete it and start over again?
You don't need to delete it. You don't need to delete it. You're going to do the tiny triangle.
Uh-huh.
Folders.
Okay.
And then quote hot mess. So you want a folder that has hot mess.
Uh-huh.
And it should just return the one folder. Unless you have other folders called hot mess.
No. I mean, I found it, but it's in one of the other folders accidentally.
That's okay. I'm going to show you what to do with that, except for the fact that my computer's now mad at me.
We're doing too many.
You don't even want to know how many tabs I have open. I know better than that. Come on. Ugh. Okay, I'm just going to refresh. I'm going to refresh my whole drive, see if I can just make Google Drive back. It's mad at me right now. I don't have this problem if I don't have video going. I usually do a whole bunch at a time and it works fine. All right, you're just going to go away. No, yes, okay. Drive. Come on, do it. All right, Matthew, here's what I'm going to tell you is when you search for something. So this is going to be my next steps for cleaning up your hot drive, your hot mess of your drive. when you do want something, you search it. So I intentionally wanted to show you all these search techniques because now you have stuff you want and you're going to need to get it.
Okay.
So you pull it up by doing the search. You single click and push Z.
Okay.
Oh, I've broken Google Drive. Dang it. That's a... Come on. You single click, you press Z. It gives you the option to move it. Is that correct?
I'm if I open my thing, it's moved to. I can get that if I double.
Yeah. So when you find it, oh, it's unresponsive. No kidding. Yeah, we'll exit all those pages. Okay, that's fine. I'll refresh this one. Killed all my tabs, that's all.
Ouch.
Okay, so let's see if I can make this work. Go to Google Drive. Now the one that I can never find, type : folder, is Screencastify. Now you would do it this way. You would click on the tiny triangle, you'd say type is folders, and the name is Screencastify. Do you see how it was faster for me once I memorized that?
Yep.
Whatever. So once I find it, what you can do is push Z, and that's going to let you move it. Come on. Z. Yes. And it's defaulting to my drive. So it's going to say, well, you want to put it back in my drive? You're like, no. I'm trying to organize this, or, you know, so figure out where you want to move things to. But in your case, with the hot mess folder, yes, you want to move it back to my drive. So if you do that, you can do it. Now, while I'm in here, notice here at the bottom, you have what are called breadcrumbs. So it's my drive is in a folder called hot mess, is in a folder called stuff, is in a folder, is the Screencastify folder. If I back it up, you know, I can click on these. This takes me to my hot mess folder. I can get there fast. Look at this. I'm just going to do a few of these. Do it way faster. So the way I did it that way is instead of the Control A, I selected one. I hold down Shift. I hold down Shift. And I click another one. Do you see I'm just only doing 8? Just doing 8 at a time. How much faster it goes because I'm only doing 8. Watch TV. Get all your mess into your hot mess. Okay, once you get in there, I've got this mail merge webinar. Okay, well, I'm going to do new folder. I'm going to do webinar slides. Create. Now I'm going to drag this into my hot mess just to, because I want to show you what I've got. Oh my gosh, now I've even lost it in the hot mess. Right, my Google Drive is a hot mess. I push Z. If I'm not on a video call, this works really great. I can right click and choose move. I can right click and choose move. I'm going to move it to out of the hot mess folder and into my webinar slides folder. Now, if I just take a few minutes every day to just do a few of these, I have a junk folder. I'm like, this is junk. I start, even in my hot mess folder, I got a junk folder. See, it says stuff or whatever. Delete. I make some folders for those. And you can just delete like these. Reuse assignments. I'm going to make a folder in my hot mess folder. I'm going to call these are my reuse GC spreadsheet. So then I can take these Shift. See, I can select more than one at a time. I'm going to drag it up into that new folder I just made. Or here's another one. I push Z. There it goes. And I put it. Now notice one of my tricks is I put 0, 0 in front of it. So I make sure alphabetically it's at the top, things that I'm going to get to. And I just made a folder for reuse. So I have to scroll down here. See how hard it was to find that folder? All right, come back up to this folder. I'm going to go to Emojipedia. I'm going to get a unicorn. I'm going to copy the unicorn emoji. I'm going to right click on this folder. I'm going to rename it so that I have a unicorn emoji in front of it. So now I'm going to move these. Yeah, this one is. So I push Z. And you see it's now right at the top because all the emojis filter to the top. Yes. Also, I'm looking for a unicorn. It's much easier to recognize a unicorn instead of whatever file name I have. So I select that, now I've moved it in that folder. So you're going to move all your files into Hot Mess, and then you're just going to, a little bit at a time, start organizing what you got in there. But out of sight is out of mind. Once you get everything in your Google Drive into your Hot Mess folder, it's going to feel really good to open it up and not have it. Now, I'm going to click on this webinar slides. I'm going to right click. I'm going to change the color because color coding your folders is very helpful. Now look at this. When I right click on Hot Mess, it says search within Hot Mess. So I'm not searching my whole Google Drive. I'm just searching for stuff in the Hot Mess. Can I search for things in shared with me? No, it's not a folder. It's a filter. If you want to search for things within it that are not shared with you, then you go up to the filter icon. You do the little drop down arrow. You say owner, not me. And then you set your criteria for what you're looking for. So try right-clicking on a folder and changing the color. Right-click on a folder and choose Search Within. So you're only looking for things that exist in that folder. Okay, you guys ready for the next step? I'd like you to, at the top in your Google Drive, I want you to click on the little drop down arrow, and where it says item name, type untitled. Untitled. This is going to be fun. Veronica's laughing. Enter. Oh, look at that. I want to talk Hot Mess. You know what's beautiful is of all these things with no name. So you're going to type title. You're going to go to untitled. I'm going to start this over again. You're going to click the tiny triangle. And under item name, you're doing untitled. Searching it. And then when you get in there, you are going to press no. You're going to press D. You're going to press D. When you press D, the details panel comes up. And it gives you all kinds of lovely information. And put this on here. Press D for details. Yes. I'm not going to open this file. I can see that this file is blank. I created it on the 13th. I opened it on the 13th, and I modified it on the 13th. So I'm going to just delete it. I'm going to go slow. It should give me a picture of what it looks like. It looks like I've opened and modified it multiple times. So I'm going to open this because I'm not sure. Sure enough, this is just blank slides. Oh, I see. The first slide was blank. The second one has some stuff on there, but I was just using this to make screenshots. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the trash can. Okay, what's this one? I don't know. I'm going to hit the trash can. I don't need that. I'm looking for one that I left untitled that I want. So what's nice is it has this little preview. I don't have to actually open it. I can find one where it's not blank. Apparently, I just make a bunch of blank slides. Is this really blank, or is it just slow loading? No, it's really blank. Look at me. Look at me with my blank slides. Delete. How about this one? Oh, you'll see I've written next to nothing on here. But you'll see it says the location is my drive. So I might want to press Z, right click, move it to, I don't know why the Z is going so slow. Right click, move it to my hot mess. I might want to do that, but here's another great shortcut. I'm going to single click and push N. Whoa. Single click and push N will rename. I'm going to rename this to delete. I'm going to go to the next one, and I'm going to rename it to delete. And checkbox sample. Do you see I can see in the right-hand side in the preview, I can see its checkboxes. So I'm going to rename it to not be untitled. So what do I do with all these untitled documents is I eventually take some time to delete them or rename them if I am bored. While I'm watching TV, and the trick is to single click, push D to get the details pane so I don't have to open it. Now the shortcut to delete is the hashtag. So Shift 3 just deletes. Single click and press N to rename. Hashtag deletes. So you have to do Shift 3. Yeah, D for details pane, then either N to rename it or hashtag to delete it. Okay. So step 1, start from scratch. Create a folder, drag everything into the folder. Pay one of your children to do it for you. Step 2, start making the folders like you wish you had done in the first place. Step 3, if you open something, you're like, well, I've opened this a second time. This might be important. You will star it. It's S for starred in Drive, or you push the star icon if you actually have it open. And then you're going to move it to a folder you wish it was in. And you're just going to little by little clean this up. And every once in a while, when you're really, really extra bored, you're going to go in and you're going to just do a search for title, untitled, push D for details pane, and start N renaming or hashtag deleting and cleaning those suckers up. Fun times. Or you just keep moving everything into your hot mess folder and not worrying about it. Out of sight is out of mind, and it's beautiful. Questions? All right, my friends, you have a lovely Saturday. I'm going to stop the recording.
Thank you, Alice.
You're very welcome.